the thousands in attendance and millions watching around the world, please welcome your host, the one and only Big Blue Jabroni! Welcome back to the channel, Big Blue Jabroni. Going to be doing my picks for the week and previews games for week 4. Thursday night, real quick, we'll go over that. It already happened. The Jets lose to the Broncos. They possibly could be the worst team in football. They look terrible. Really not much to say about that game if you didn't catch it. But let's get into the 1 o'clock slot and our predictions. All right. The Ravens going to Washington. Obviously, everyone's going to be taking the Ravens here. They get embarrassed on Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football last week. So they're going to want to come out with a vengeance against a young Washington team who is not really ready to compete with the big dogs yet. Not really a great football team, even though they are first in the NFC East. But I expect the Ravens to win and win handily here. Next, we have the Chargers going to the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers here are going to be the safe pick. The Chargers, they don't even know who their quarterback's going to be. It could be Tyrod Taylor. It could be Justin Herbert. I think they should just go with Herbert. He's played well in there, even on the last minute notice. But I think the Chargers, with Derwin James out, my opinion, their best defensive player, and they're really going to miss him in that secondary. The Bucs are going to be able to sit into the. I think Tom Brady's going to be able to sit into the pocket and kind of pick this team apart and really show his experience and the reason why Tampa brought him in. I think he's going to have a really big week. Next, the Seattle Seahawks go all the way to Miami. Miami has not played well at all this year. The only win they have is that Thursday night game against Jacksonville. I hate taking teams that travel that far. This is the farthest travel any team could take in the NFL, going all the way from Seattle to Miami. But I do think Russell Wilson's going to be the MVP this year. He's on track so far, and I don't think he's going to lose pace here. I like the Seahawks. Next, a team of 2 0-3 teams, the Vikings and the Texans. 2 teams with some pretty decent rosters. Obviously, Deshaun Watson gets that big deal in the offseason. No more DeAndre Hopkins, and they have played some really tough teams to start off the season. They've played the Chiefs, the Ravens, and then Pittsburgh on the road. So I do think they're going to get the win here. I think the Vikings are going to be in a bit of a free fall here, going to 0-4. I think it's going to be hard to travel to Houston for a very desperate team that's going to need a win, and I think they're going to get their first win of the season here. Next, we have the 1-2 Saints going to Detroit. I think the Saints obviously are going to need to get a win here to try and keep up a little bit with the Bucs and the rest of that division. I don't believe in the Lions at all. I know that they beat Arizona last week, a pretty solid football team, but I think the Lions are going to be just woefully not talented as New Orleans. They might get Michael Thomas back this week. That's kind of been Drew Brees' security blanket. Obviously had 150 catches last year, so putting him back in the lineup is going to do a lot for them. Especially if they're going to have a rookie corner, Jeffrey Okudah, on him. I think it's going to be a really tough task for him, and I think New Orleans wins and wins pretty handily. Next, a really interesting matchup. The Browns go into Cowboys Stadium. Cowboys 1-2, so they're going to definitely have to start turning this around, and they could be 0-3. They got some luck going into that Atlanta game where they were down big, and they had that big fourth quarter and that wonky onside kick. But the Browns, they have to be a run-first team. But the Cowboys secondary is very sus to start the season. Odell Beckham Jr. could have himself a big game. He's always played the Cowboys really well, always going all the way back to that catch that made him so famous. So I do expect this to be probably one of the better 1 o'clock games, if not the best 1 o'clock game. So definitely have my eyes on this, but I do have the Browns winning here. Maybe that's because I want the Giants to somehow still be in this division somewhat, but I think the Browns are just really talented, and I don't think the Cowboys have quite clicked yet, and I think the Browns are going to be able to run all over them. Next, we have the Jaguars going into the Bengals. This is going to be a pretty cruddy game. Not sure who's going to be looking forward to this one. The Bengals have not gotten a win yet. They did have the tie last week with the Eagles. I do think Joe Burrow is going to get his first career win here, and I thought this kid was going to be way over his skis, and he was going to struggle mightily early on, and he's played very well. So he's shown me up a little bit for sure, and I do think they're going to get their first win. I do like Minshew. I just don't think his franchise is really too much behind him, and there's really just not as much talent you got to put around a guy like that. I'm not saying the Bengals are loaded with talent either, but at home they got to get off the schneid. I think they get their first win here. Next, the 2-1 Colts go to Chicago. This is classic Nick Foles. He comes in, saves the day. Now he's going to have the starting job, and I think he's going to struggle. I think the Colts are... I'm not crazy about Phillip Rivers at all. I do like the rest of their team, though. I do think they have some really good players there. I think they're just going to be a little bit too much to hold off. Next, the Cardinals going into the Panthers. This is going to be a really interesting game. These are the types of games that the Cardinals are going to have to win if they want to consider themselves like a true playoff team or a perennial playoff team that they're going to try to become. The Panthers missing their best player and Christian McCaffrey. They've been able to put up points, but they can't stop anyone, and I think that's going to be a tall task for them to try and stop Kyle Murray. I got the Cardinals here moving to 3-1. Next, our New York Giants go into LA, and they are, I think, the biggest dogs of the week by like 2 touchdowns. I think the Giants are going to make a little bit of a game of this. I think it's going to be closer. I don't think it's going to be the 49ers game again, or at least I hope so. I understand that they have Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. Sean McVay is a great offensive coach, and he always seems to be able to pull out points with those guys. But I do think the Giants are going to be able to establish the run a little bit more than they have been all year, just because there's been no run. I understand that it's such a tough matchup for us, especially with the Rams losing the way they did last week, having that giant lead, giving it all back, and then getting it back on the last 2 minutes just to have Josh Allen drive down the field. There was a questionable pass interference call, and then they do answer the bell. So I think the Rams are going to come in here a little pissed at home. But I do think this is a good thing for the Giants. Get out of town. No expectations for you. Everyone's kind of giving up on you guys, and for them to hopefully surprise some people, including myself, and at least make this a game and keep it close. That's all I'm really hoping for here. Just for us to be in a position with the last 6-7 minutes of the game for us to have an opportunity to at least win a game or be close. But it is going to be a tough matchup, and we could be lambs to the slaughter. But we're not going to be as bad as we were last week. You're never as bad as you look. You're never as good as you look. I expect the Giants to compete, and I hope they do, but I'm going to have to go with the Rams there. All right, next, the 3-0 Bills going to the Raiders. The Raiders have been a surprise to some people at 2-1. I had them going to the playoffs to start the season in my playoff prediction video. But I do like the way the Bills are playing right now. I'm not crazy about Josh Allen. I'm not really quite sure which way I want to go in this. I am going to go with the Bills. I think they're just a bit of a steamrolling right now. They're really hitting on all cylinders. They're playing their best football. When you go down by 28 and you're able to come away with a win, obviously you're doing something right up there. So I'm going to go with the Bills, but I do still like the Raiders. Next, the 4 o'clock, the matchup of the week that looks like it might get delayed. The latest news is the NFL is not really quite sure what they're going to do about this game. That's the Patriots going into the Chiefs. Now with Cam Newton contracting the COVID-19, he's going to be obviously out, and now that it's up in the air if they're even going to be able to play this game this week, which is really unfortunate because he has played great for them so far. The Patriots have at least surprised me, which is, I don't understand what I was thinking. You should never bet against Bill. I didn't think the fit was there. I thought it was going to be a bit of a mess, but it has been very cohesive. They both seem to get along, and it's just a shame that we're not going to be able to see this game. I had the Chiefs winning, and if they don't have Cam Newton, I definitely have the Chiefs winning. Hopefully that the NFL is going to be able to move something around or work something, or maybe even a false positive or something, but it's not looking that way. It looks like we're going to have to wait to see this game at a different time. Then the Sunday night game, the Eagles go against the backup 49ers team that we just played. They showed that they were no schlubs. Obviously, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch know how to put a football team together and coach it right. The Eagles have looked dreadful as well, and especially with the Niners at home, I have the Niners winning here. The Eagles have looked absolutely terrible. Nowhere near as bad as the Giants, but they've not been good this year. And then the Monday night game, we got the Falcons going to the Packers. Got to go with the Packers at home here. Aaron Rodgers is playing some of the best football of his life, and that is not easy to say because he's obviously an all-time great talent, and I have them winning here. Now, just to wrap up the video, once again, just a reminder for the Win the Ring contest. We got a couple people who are really at the top of it. We're going to check the results at the end of this week, and we'll say what our top 3 is. But my 3 picks are going to be the Ravens, the Buccaneers. I would love to take the Rams, but I can't do it. I can't bet against the Giants like that. I would have loved to take the Chiefs, but it looks like that's going to be off the board. So we'll go Ravens, Bucks, Texans. Texans need to win a game. Oh, I think I took the Texans last week. I can't. That's one of my rules. Can't take the same teams 2 weeks in a row. So never mind. Our third pick will be... Should have thought this out earlier, but this is where we are, guys. 49ers. They really surprised me last week. They looked much better, or the Giants obviously didn't play their best football, but I'll take the Niners, the Bucks, and Baltimore. We'll see you on the next video. Go Blue. I'm not going to make a draft board video. I'm not making a tank for Trevor Lawrence video because I do believe Daniel Jones is the guy. If you guys are waiting for me to make that video or do things like that, I'm still... concentrate on the 2020 season. I think there are wins to come out of this team. I think we'll talk about that later at a different time. Just want to get my picks out there, and I'll see you on the next video. Jabroni out.